Hello everyone, welcome to Marlin Chess Kids. Today I show the gameplay by Daria and Alexandra, and this game is very beautiful and it complete in only 24 moves. The game starts with pawn to e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, bishop to b5, and here you have the LOpez, and the bishop is now attacking, and with the idea of using the knight to capture the center on e5, and this blue color also indicate the critical path for the bishop to move from f1 to b5 to a4 and to b3 if the bishop is being attacked by the pawn. So after this move, the black play a6 to attack the bishop, and now the bishop to a4, then b5 attacking the bishop again, and now the bishop to b3, and after this knight to a5 attacking the bishop, because this bishop is very active, and after this the knight can jump to g5 and attack the square at f7 and fork the rook and the queen. And after this the white play d4, open up the board, and with the idea of moving out the bishop. So after this the pawn capture d4, and you have queen takes d4, and with this there's one very simple idea to move queen to d5 and preparing to checkmate the king, and at the same time you capture the rook. So this is a very strong threat. Therefore in this game the black play a bishop to b7, prevent the queen to the d5 square. After this white keep on develop by playing a knight to c3, and now the black develop also by moving the knight to e7, and then at this position with about the same equal position, the white at the 9th move find a very strong attack with the pawn at h4. So h4 was played, and after this the knight captured the bishop to remove the material from the board, and after this the pawn takes a3, taking the knight, and here the rook is ready to attack the pawn. And after this position the position is equal, then the black play knight to c6 attacking the queen, and the queen play queen to d5, pinning the knight as the knight cannot move, and if the knight moves the white can capture the bishop. So after this the black play rook to b8. In this position, another suggestion you can play is you move the knight to b4, and here you attack the queen, and the bishop will attack the queen, and if the queen capture the bishop, then the knight will capture the pawn and check the king, and will be winning the rook. So this move will be more stronger, and after the queen takes b7, and you can just use the rook to attack the queen. Then now the queen has no place to move to prevent the knight capture the pawn. So if the queen move to a7, then the knight can just capture and check the king. And after this, if the king move to e2, then the knight can just capture the knight. And if this will remain an equal position. So in the actual game, Rook b8 was played. Then the white continued to develop the bishop to b3, and here the bishop come with a very good attack. We have many ideas as in this center of the 16th square, you can notice that you have the knight, bishop, and another knight in the center of the square, while the black only have one knight. And in this 16th square, the white is more active in the game. So after this position, the black play knight to b4 and trying to attack the queen. And after this, the queen to e5 and check the king. After this, the bishop block the check. And after this position, another great move that the white play to protect the pawn is to play long castling, and the king will protect the pawn. So in the game, the white play a long castling. If in this position, if the queen capture the free pawn, let's say the queen takes g7, then the bishop will move to f6 and attack the queen, and at the same time will protect the rook at h8. So after queen move to g4, then the knight will just capture the pawn and check the king, and the king to e2, then the knight will capture the a1 pawn. And after this, the rook takes a1, take the knight, and after this you can just play a pawn to d6. And in this position, you can see that the black is a slightly better. So the pawn at g7, it cannot be taken. So after a long castling, then the black play short castling, and after this, the white keep on pressure and move h5 to destroy the pawn structure of the king side. Then this also, the white also plan can move to h6, and here the queen can capture and it have an easy checkmate. So h5 was played, and after this, d6 was played to attack the queen, and now queen to f4. Then the game continue, queen to c8, and here, in order to have more activity and attack the king side, the white play rook to h3 with the idea of bring the rook and pin the king. So rook h3 was played, and now f5 was played. Then here we have the rook can come and protect the pawn. After this, the e takes f5, and now the white threaten to win with h6, push h6 and can win and capture the pawn, and the rook can come to g3 and attack the pawn. So c5 was played, and now the white bring another little soldier, the little pawn, and attack to the g4. And after this, in this position, the best is to defend this king structure or bring the more of the weapon towards the king side. So after this, the d5 was played, and now the rook to e1. After this, the queen to d8. The idea of the rook to e1 is you can make the queen or the bishop sacrifice, and when this unpinned, you can capture the bishop. Therefore, the queen just move to d8 and to protect the bishop. And now the white play h6 and to attack the pawn. After this, the black play d4, attacking the knight and the bishop, and for the two pieces. So even though it's being fought, but white has a very strong activity, so white just capture the pawn, and now the pawn is attacked the rook. Therefore the king need to capture the pawn or to move the rook away. So in the actual game, the black play rook to f7, and after this position, the white win the game and clearly win the major pieces in the action. So I give you a couple of seconds to figure out what is the best move for the white to play. Well, congratulations for those who found the answer, and for those who like to enjoy the show, here are the very amazing rook sacrifice. In the actual game, after the rook play rook f7, the white play a very strong sacrifice of the rook. The rook takes h7, and here is a double exclamation mark, and it's a very strong move. So the rook capture the pawn and threatening to mate with rook gh8 and checkmate the king. Now assume that if the king do not capture the rook, and let's say you can move example move like the a5, then the rook can just simply play rook to h8 and check the king, and now the king have nothing to block. Then the only way to prevent the check is to capture the pawn, and after capture the pawn, the queen to h6, and we will have a checkmate, and the king has no place to move again. So after the rook capture the pawn, and now if the king capture the rook, then the white win by playing queen h6, and this is was played in the actual game. Queen h6 and check the king, and now the king has no place to move except to g8, and after this the queen just can go to queen h8 and checkmate. So if you back to the rook h7 position, so if the king to capture the rook will be a winning. So the only way you can play is to move a queen to d6. So queen to d6, and after this you can just bring the another rook and double up in the h file, and here you can plan to check the king and continue check and win the queen. So rook e to h1, and now if the queen capture the queen, then the bishop will just capture back the queen, and after this there's nothing you can do unless you just move the bishop to h4. And now you can just use the rook to capture again, and again now the rook can just capture the pawn, then the rook to h8 and check the king, and after the king to h8, then the white now can just continue to check knight to e5 and check, because if you capture the rook, then the bishop will capture the knight. So therefore the knight can go and check first, and if the king to any move e7, then after this the rook will capture the rook, and at this position the white is clearly winning. And with this, thank you.